Hey guys, my name is Johnny from Lulu, and we're all about creating unique ear styling that helps you stay trendy while expressing your personal style. In today's video, I'm going to be styling an ear from scratch, and you guys are going to see this ear probably on the live streams, or you've already seen it on the live streams. And this is pretty much me making the ear from scratch, and I'm deciding the pieces I'm going to be using, where I'm going to be putting it, and you're just going to see the full creation from beginning to end of how I put the whole thing together. Every single day we're doing a live stream at 12 o'clock where we pretty much show off the ear style from the jewelry to the style itself every day at 12 o'clock on all social media platforms, so stay tuned. So if you're part of the live streams and you see the ear style, make sure to heart it up, make sure to stay tuned, because every single day we are doing a giveaway, and we're also displaying and showcasing a new style every single day. All right, already got my gloves on. As you guys know, being sanitary is also the best thing. Even though you're working with a fake rubber ear, it's still good to be sanitary and make those good habits. The first thing we're gonna start with is the industrial, because I usually like to work top down or bottom up, especially if I have a very significant piece that I want to add to this style, and I pretty much let that piece dictate the rest of the style. And this one does have a little bit of opal and crystals mixed with it, as you guys can tell here. It has a flower in the middle with crystals and has opals on the side. So this piece itself is going to dictate the rest of the style. And so what we'll do here is we'll pretty much find a very optimal angle, and we'll pretty much pierce the ear with this piece of jewelry in there. And then we'll just start working our way down. Usually whenever I do this, I do try to make actual piercing and as an accurate piercing as well, just because the way you pierce it also dictates how the jewelry lays on the ear, and people don't realize that. You can have two of the exact same piercings, and one's done with a shitty angle or shitty placement, and the other one looks really good, and then the jewelry just looks better, even though it's the same piece of jewelry. And so that's kind of why you want to work with someone who cares about the placement, cares about how the jewelry is going to lay on the ear or wherever else in the body. Industrial is also a very, I would say, difficult and tricky piercing for new piercers or people that are not that experienced. So you do want to go to someone that's very experienced doing this, or else it won't come out how you think you want it to come out. So here we have it. So that's number one. So since we have a tiny flower on top, I want to utilize a bigger crystal flower, and I want to put that in the tragus because it kind of gives it a theme, it kind of matches. And since the titanium jewelry, we don't have too many different charm options available, I definitely like to creatively use the flower in different places on the ear just to give it a little bit of a new feel. And then we're using a surgical steel hinge ring here. This piece right here can also be used for your septum and your date. They go hand in hand. Usually anything that's for a septum also can be used for a date, and vice versa. So that's what we're doing here. We're gonna go ahead and pierce the date, and we're gonna use that jewelry to go in the date. It's a very tiny piece, so it's gonna hug the ear. Normally when people do dates, they go with a bigger ring, but I'm going with a little bit of a smaller ring so it hugs the ear. It just gives it a really cool look, so that's what we're doing. There we go. That's how we know it's secure. There we go, we have our white opal. The ear is starting to come together now. Let me just mix this up. So you can tell there's the white opal, there's a crystal, there's kind of a theme happening here. And I usually love doing themed ears because you kind of want a consistency. You want the colors to match, you want the styles to match. The ear just looks a lot nicer when it all makes sense. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna work our way bottom so I could fit these studs in. Usually when we're piercing the ear, we obviously clean with alcohol and we mark it, but since we got rubber ear and I don't want to add any ink to it, I usually have to eyeball it to make sure it comes out good. And there we go. We're gonna add the crystal hinge ring. If you guys notice that this jewelry that I'm using, it's 16 gauge. It's a little bit thicker than the standard earlobe jewelry. I usually use that because it fits really perfectly and it rests on the ear very nicely. And a lot of times earlobes do have enough space to add that extra thickness of jewelry in there, and I feel like it looks really nice. And it just turns all the way around, so as you can tell, we're gonna go with the opal in the front, a crystal there, and then we're gonna work our way up, opal crystal, all the way up. And I'm gonna go with the larger gems on the bottom, and I'm gonna get smaller as I go up. Since the ear is wider on the bottom and it narrows in going all the way up, I'm kind of gonna follow that same theme. So here's gonna be the third one going all the way up. Don't need to poke a needle with that because it's already sharp enough. So that's the first one. And then we'll do a crystal, since we already did an opal, which goes, space it out a little bit. This goes right in there. Make sure it's on the back end, perfect. Next we'll do opal, a little bit spaced out from that. Remember that the pieces that I'm actually putting through the ear now require backing. I'm not using that backing now because I don't need to. But usually whenever you're doing a piercing, you do need a backing and they both snap together. And that's how it's gonna stay in place. And that is everything. That is the whole ear right there. As you can tell, opal, crystal, opal, crystal, opal, crystal, opal, crystal, and then the industrial. If you guys wanna see me judge celebrities' ear styles, click the video right up here.